I've had it where I've been like devastated, where I've been like, oh, that sucks.
Tears.
And that's
around.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. It's okay to feel the suckiness and feel like it's not great. And know that that's okay in your space, and to feel that, because it'll be weird if you didn't feel sad about not getting a job or like not getting something. That's also,
You have to be human about it. And like,
exactly.
That's the actors' whole job.
No, it is. It's hard. It's what it is. It is what it is.
It depends how much I really like what I want to do. And I think it depends if I'm ready for it. Like if I'm like, you know what? I think I was a bit of a mess in this room. I was then I'm like, okay, come, so how do we, like, what was it? Or like, how do we focus on the next audition and like not do that again? Or, but I think, again, just really like, I think it's letting yourself feel for a day or two. And then I think after, just being like, okay, how can I get better at this? Or like, can I tweak this? Or like,
I just have to tell myself it is not about me as an actor, because I think that's what we'll often go to, like, I just didn't do well enough, I didn't give them what they want. But you can only give your version. It's your version of a two-dimensional, at this moment, character. So I have to be like, all I can do is bring a bold version of myself to every audition, so that I know that I've prepped as much as I can and I've brought as much as of myself to the table as I could. I can't be anyone else.
Yeah, and sometimes they just don't want your version, and that's completely fine. I think so much goes into casting decisions outside of just your performance that it's never really about you as a performer not being good enough sometimes. If they've already got you in the room, sometimes you might be seen 2-3 times for a role. You know, you were good enough for the role, it just wasn't supposed to be. And I always try to hold on to, you know, the roles that are for me will be for me. And if I don't get a role, then it wasn't for me, really. Once
I started doing directing, and I've been an assistant and associate on lots of different shows, what cracks me up is I thought I was done with auditions for a while. I was like, let me take a breather from auditions, but I have to interview all the time. And so I think I'm used to having to deal with those like no's as well myself. And I think something I've learned is like, you know, was the play for me? What would I have learned from the play? Is there another opportunity to get a play like that? I think I sometimes think about those things of just like, oh yeah, what did I learn from that process? And I think it's valuable. I like to read plays, and so it's nice to be able to read a play for a job, and because I don't always have time. So I'm like, oh, I read a play and I'm really interested in that play, and sometimes I've had no's from a job, and then I've gone to see the play and I'm like, oh, it's great, but I wouldn't have been the best person for that job. I think someone else would have been great for that job.
Sometimes it's like other people are being cast. The other person that you're supposed to play alongside, they're much taller or much shorter, and it doesn't make any sense. They might have cast the rest of the family and you're great, but you don't quite match the family dynamic. Like, so many things to go into it. So you have to really try to not take it personally, and like you said, if it's for me, I'll get it, and if it's not.
But also, I think always remembering, you know, you can create your own opportunities. I think that as great Issa Rae says, it's about networking sideways and looking at your peers and working with them, because it's equally as important to make your own stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.